This is a trade recap for Wednesday, March 18th, 2026. Let's go ahead and get started. So just a quick kind of intro here, doing one and done. Basically, take the first trade to trigger and basically call it a day at that point. This is phase 2 of that process, so we're doing it for a total of 10, though I might extend it out at least one more week just from, again, kind of the initial sampling we're getting. And the rules are also, there's a size limitation, 2 to 4 contracts, max size starter of 2 with a max position size of 4. And reset trades are allowed. And that's the only additional trade that is allowed. So it can only be taken if a prior loss has occurred in the same trading session. So with that being said, kind of trying to think how to phrase this morning or summarize it. A lot of levels, but that's kind of just what happens when you get, again, we've got a decent sized gap down from where we were screwing around with yesterday on both SPY and Qs. So it's one of those things where sometimes you just have to, again, look at things on that kind of wider spectrum and really see what's ultimately going to be testing and in play. And also when these things do decide to kind of put in that level of distance, especially to the downside, it always seems like options premium gets a little screwy. So today actually wasn't too bad, surprisingly. I was expecting it to be really expensive, but it was not as bad as I thought it would be, which is good. I'm not sure why this time around it seemingly didn't get as expensive with the volatility or that gap down as it has historically, but just, yeah, something that's a little interesting. But again, this is all stuff that, again, my coach and mentor, Pat Mitchell, points out. So just quickly hit on that one. If you're a new day trader or a struggling day trader and you're looking for a coach or mentor, and I would highly recommend, if you don't have one, to seriously give it some thought and honestly just getting one. It's a good one at that. Pat Mitchell over at tricktrades.com. He is the one I use, and his results speak for themselves. He's been in the markets for over a decade now, and every day he proves, day in, day out, just, again, what is possible when you have all the pieces put together, you got yourself put together, and you do this on the professional level. So that said, just to kind of give you a look, see here. He has a website over at tricktrades.com. You can go over the education service, look it over, look into his background, see what he offers. I do the SizeUp program, and I highly recommend that for anyone looking for that kind of more structured approach to learning how to day trade. If you're not doing it, I honestly, okay, you can do it on hard mode if you want to, but I honestly don't see the point. But that's just, again, my 2 cents. And again, if you need more information or want a sampling of the quality of the information he puts out, he also has a YouTube page over at Trick Trades where he has over 1,700 videos. So you can get, again, a really good idea of what he offers. And it's one of those things where, again, from lessons to recaps, all of it. And honestly, it's like, this is just tip of the iceberg stuff. He goes into way more depth, again, within the service, live on screen share every single morning. So that being said, if you're looking for a coach, he is the one you want. Pure, plain simple. All right, so let's jump into the trading session from this morning. Pull up the recording. So as you can see, if you're new here, let's go over the lay of the land real quick. Got the daily chart here on the left, SPY on top, Qs on bottom. 1 minute intraday here in the middle, and then I keep my order execution here on the right. These blue levels are developed by Pat for our trade plans. And he usually starts the night before and then refines them the morning of, depending on gap up, gap down, whatever it is we're doing. Once he has these set and the trade plan is developed, they do not move, period. So for today, we had a few more levels. This kind of zoomed in a little bit because I was watching the moving averages. So that's why I'll show you the kind of the levels, what they look like once we're done with the recording. And then you also see these risk levels. I put them on there. That is something I prefer just to help me keep track of where and what I'm risking off of. Pat doesn't do that. Other people don't do that. It is just a thing I do. And as things progress, again, eventually they may just come off. So go ahead and hit play on this. We're about 10 seconds prior to the open. And again, kind of like the past few days, sometimes you gotta be a little patient. So on Qs, we're looking at both these levels, long and short, depending on how the interaction goes. And then on SPY, we're looking at long and short on these levels. But as you can see, you have no distance here on this middle level, really. So not something you can just take out the gate. I'm popping right up. Trying to get things kind of adjusted. Q's pops kind of into the 9, but not quite into it. It's a little shallow. I guess actually the opening volume is going to push the shorter term moving averages around a little bit. SPY's testing that level. It's reacting with it a little bit, but just got to be patient and kind of let it sort itself out. So start stepping through so we're not here all day. And because of the volatility and kind of the gap down, I did start it with 1, not 2. And there's Interactive Brokers giving me the business with errors when I try to change things around. So go ahead. Since SPY dipped out back up a little bit and gave a little bit of enough distance to get involved with that level, entered in, and that was with guidance from Pat. So I go ahead, entered as it's coming into the level. It was about a little under 20 cents away. And now we just kind of wait. We got the risk level above, which is backed by the 5 EMA on SPY. Qs is kind of just floating between the 5 and the 9 right now, with a little bit of technical resistance from yesterday's low. And then you just kind of watch, wait, see what it does. After a big gap down, it's like, expect it'll test some kind of upper level potentially. So keep going. As you see, it kind of comes through the level now. Qs is kind of pushing up into the 9 properly. It kind of pierces above. Very consistent volume on Qs, as Pat pointed out. So again, SPY's a little bit above that level, so it might back test it real quick before potentially pushing up and kind of marking where that 5 is kind of floating around. To see exactly kind of where it is, because it is going to move a bit. So I'm kind of waiting for kind of good test of that 5. Start getting a little bit back down to test the level. Qs is kind of coming up into that upper level for a potential short, but it's also now above the 9, so you got to watch out for that one. Now we're coming through. And now we're below level, so I'm going to look for what we call a head bump. So basically when it goes to back test that level is where I'm going to add on the position, because I did not add above. And then again, hindsight, could have added 1, but I was looking for, again, a solid test of that 5. So I'm just being patient, trying to wait for it to give that proper test. So it comes into it more properly, added the 1 there. And watching to see how it reacts. Now that right there was the mistake I made. I reached for the mouse and I was getting ready to actually buy, and I screwed that one up. So quick had to jump back in at that, screwed the average up a little bit. So that was a mistake there. It's like, don't fat finger, let's be more conscious of where your mouse is. and what you're doing. I don't know why, like what brain fart I had right there. It does happen. Try not to beat yourself up. Just move past it. But again, if there's something to clean up, clean it up. So just kind of watching, waiting. And again, this is just like the past couple of days. This week is just waiting. Again, being patient to really see what does this want to do. Because sometimes it just does not seem like it really knows. Start taking some off. Comes back up to test the other side of that level. Q's is just floating between the 5 and the 9. And then, yeah, just keep letting it go. Back at it. Again, just kind of sideways, stuck at that level. Like I said, Q's stuck between the 5 and the 9. Now we finally start kind of breaking down and coming down. And you can see. So again, that was the recording. So just jump over here, show the entries. Hold on to that one a little bit longer. So as you can see, on SPY came up, screwed around with this level and the 5. Ultimately didn't break over. So no stop outs, and then just kind of was patient and ultimately got out as it really, really put in, again, that downward kind of push. So again, comes up into the level, again, entered, probably could have, again, specifically, I mean, not right wide there on that one, but like adding right here or right here would have been intelligent to really correct the average. That fat finger did kind of goof things up a little bit, unfortunately, but hey, shit happens. And then again, on the reactions coming back down, as you can see, should be on like right in here-ish. Again, off there, and then off there. So again, an opportunity. Again, it's one of those things where these past few days, having a lot of patience, respecting the trade plan and levels. It's the nature of the market right now. I'm also trying to think what else. Also, not getting carrying away with too much sizing, because it's one of those things. Well, I kind of have a limit on what I can trade with what I'm doing with one and done. But again, there's like, do you keep adding there and keep adding there to? I mean, you could, but as you're building up this position size, it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things with how much this thing gapped down. Could easily come back up. Though, I mean, the way I was reading the daily, and Pat kind of confirmed this, was kind of did not look like it really wanted to go higher currently. So it's one of those things where it just, yeah, and it really didn't. So kind of just what I was looking at, again, emotion wise, good on that, minus the fat finger. Not much like the sizing aspect of this. Like, that's not really moving the needle in terms of emotion or making me undisciplined in any way. So that's good. It's what you want to see. And it's just a matter of refining entries and exits, more so on probably the entry side. Really need to dial those in, because I feel like I'm when I'm building up the position, I'm not building it up like the average isn't as tight as it should be. Definitely not as tight as it could be. So again, just trying to do those minor little tweaks to really dial that in, because I think that's really what's going to make a difference. So with that being said, I mean, this was number 5 of this phase of one and done. So like I said, I might extend another 5 days just to kind of, again, we are having some little tweaks here and there. So I want to give those enough time to actually produce enough data to show themselves. So like I said, might extend it out, probably make that decision closer to the end of this week. But all in all, good day, even though the market is again being a little different than it has been, say, in the prior week. But all in all, still good stuff. So I don't know. Hopefully you got something from this. I know I did, and this helps me journal things and kind of keep it all together. Hope everyone else has a good rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow for the next one. Have a good one.